Welcome to Standalone, episode 12. Your host, Jared, with the Grab Some Popcorn podcast, here to do a solo review. Today we're doing Marty Supreme. This one's stepping back into the 1950s for the most unexpected sports drama in years. Josh Safdie directs Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet as Marty Mauser, a man willing to sacrifice everything in pursuit of one singular dream, becoming a champion table tennis player. With a stacked cast including Gwyneth Paltrow, Tyler the Creator, and Odessa A'zion, Marty Supreme isn't just about ping-pong. It's about ambition, ego, and the fine line between passion and self-destruction. Is this Safdie's most focused character study yet, or a stylish fever dream that spins out of control? Let's talk about it, guys. So, right away we're introduced to Marty Mauser, and it's clear this is a man with an ego bigger than his own life. He talks fast, he's charming, and he always knows exactly what to say to get attention or validation. Marty is the type of guy who believes the world owes him something, even when he hasn't earned it yet. Early in the film, Marty is working as a salesman, just trying to make ends meet. During one of his shifts, his girlfriend Rachel, played by Odessa A'zion, comes by for some casual fun in the back room. To Marty, it's nothing more than a distraction, but the scene makes it very clear that Rachel is deeply in love with him, even if he barely registers it. When Marty's shift ends, he's faced with a problem. He hasn't been paid. Instead of accepting it, he pressures the closing manager into giving him the money he's owed. Money he needs to take a trip to Japan for a major ping-pong tournament. This moment really sets the tone for who Marty is. Someone who refuses to take no for an answer if it stands in the way of his ambitions. Once in Japan, Marty appears to be on another level entirely. He completely outclasses his competitors, making easy work of every match and quickly rising to the top. During his stay, he meets Kay Stone, played by Gwyneth Paltrow, a fading movie star desperately clinging to the last remnants of her fame. Marty is instantly hypnotized by Kay's celebrity. He forces his way into her life through a bold, borderline unhinged phone call where he convinces her to attend his championship match. Despite being married and traveling with her husband, Kay manages to slip away and show up. Marty and Kay spend time together and eventually become intimate the night before Marty's big match. And it's here that everything changes. For the first time, Marty is completely humble. He's easily defeated by Japan's representative in the championship. When Marty returns to America, he's crushed. Not only has he failed on the world stage, but he's also now buried in debt. To make matters worse, he comes home to Rachel, who reveals she's pregnant. This is where the movie really takes a turn. Up until this point, Marty has been climbing fast, but his fall feels worse than maybe it needed to be, largely because of his own need for self-destruction. From here on out, the film becomes a character study about a man who uses everyone around him in pursuit of relevance, no matter the cost. As the story progresses, Marty is doing everything he can to claw his way back to the top of the ping-pong world. Ironically, he's now doing the exact kind of work he looked down on earlier in the film, another quiet punishment for his arrogance. Eventually, Marty catches the attention of Milton Rockwell, Kay's husband, and the owner of a powerful pen company. Milton offers Marty a chance at redemption, an opportunity for a rematch against the opponent who humiliated him in Japan. But there's a catch. Marty is expected to take a fall. The match is scripted, designed to promote Rockwell's business rather than Marty's legacy. Marty's smug attitude resurfaces, and he blows the opportunity entirely, refusing to play his role. But eventually, with no cards left to play, Marty returns to Milton and begs for another chance. Milton agrees, but only if Marty humiliates himself publicly in an extremely degrading way. Desperate to be back in the spotlight, Marty accepts. This leads to the final exhibition match. Everything is supposed to be scripted, but Marty can't live with the performance. In a moment that feels both triumphant and tragic, he challenges his opponent to a real match, and this time he wins. Feeling on top of the world once again, Marty returns home to Rachel, who has just given birth to their child. The film ends there and it leaves us with a man who technically achieved victory, but at the cost of a lot. So before I get into what didn't work for me, I want to talk about what did work for me, because there's a lot here. First and foremost, Timothée Chalamet, he's excellent in this movie. He brings Marty Supreme to life in a way that feels both magnetic and exhausting, which is exactly what this character needs. Marty is a hustler, con man, and at times he almost feels like a small-time gangster, and Timothée captures all that effortlessly. He commands every scene he's in. Even when you think Marty is finally about to lose, he finds some way to twist the situation in his favor, and that constant unpredictability keeps you fully locked in. Whether you love Marty or hate him, you just can't stop watching him, and that's a huge credit to the performance. I really like Odessa and Gwyneth as the two women in Marty's life. What I appreciated most is that neither of them exists just to orbit around him. Both characters have their own arc and their own emotional journey and their own motivations. Even when Marty is using or ignoring them, they're not just accessories to his story. They're reflections of who he is and the damage he causes. Tyler, the creator, doesn't get much screen time. He doesn't get as much as I expected, but when he is on screen, his presence is undeniable. His personality shines through the acting in a way that feels natural rather than forced. If you're familiar with Tyler's rap persona, you'll recognize it immediately. He very much brings that energy into the movie, and it works. Overall, from a performance standpoint, Marty Supreme is doing a lot right, especially when it comes to the casting, the right people in this chaotic and ego-driven world. All right, so what I didn't like, it comes down to really Marty himself. Even though Timothée Chalamet does a great job with the role, I just didn't like Marty as a character, and not in he's a complicated way. He's just kind of a dick. He uses people until they have nothing left to offer him, and everything he does purely is in the service of his own advancement. He doesn't care that Rachel gets pregnant, and at one point he even denies that the baby is his. He uses K-Stone for money, status, and sex. And what really threw me off is that he never even tries to use that relationship as leverage against Milton, which feels like the obvious move for a guy this manipulative. The relationship ends up feeling strange and underutilized, especially given how calculated Marty is everywhere else in the film. There are moments where Marty's lack of concern borderline's unbelievable, and there's like a scene, with Tyler where they hustle some guys at the bowling alley and they end up in some danger after, and he winds up, destroying a part of Tyler's work car. And it just seems like he doesn't care. Like he just, he does these destructive things to himself and they inflict upon other people. And then he just makes empty promises, that he knows he can't fulfill. And that's pretty much where the movie lost me a bit. The end especially lost me because he just comes home after the exhibition match, and it was an exhibition match, so there was no money or anything, at least that was stated, and he didn't go to the world championship. So I'm left wondering, how is he supposed to provide for his family? Without the indication that there was any prize money. It just, made me wonder what actually changed for him. The film ends with a win, but it doesn't feel like a real resolution. There are a lot of unanswered questions, and the movie doesn't seem interested in answering any of them, which made the ending feel less ambiguous and more complete. My hot take for this movie, I would say this movie's absolutely going to clean up during award season. The movie completely nails the 1950s vibe, from the production design to the costumes to the overall atmosphere. It feels lived in, intentional, and authentic. And that kind of attention to detail goes a long way with both audiences and award voters. Everyone showed up ready to act. And even though I had real issues with Marty as a character, I think that adds to the credibility of Timothy's performance. The fact that I didn't like Marty as a person but stayed locked in the entire time speaks to how well Timothée embodied him. That discomfort feels intentional. I also love the writing. There are a ton of sharp one-liners throughout the movie, the kind that makes the audience go ooh and ah in real time. And it's always refreshing to experience moments like that in a packed theater. Those lines hit and they stick as well. At the end of the day, even with my issues, Marty Supreme feels like one of those movies that reminds you why seeing films in the theater still matters. So final thoughts. I would say my final thoughts for Marty Supreme is an 8 out of 10. The acting across the board is great, the story is compelling, and the movie fully commits to the world it's building. Even though the ending left me feeling a little empty and wanting more closure, it doesn't take away from how strong the overall experience is. I absolutely recommend seeing this movie in theaters, and I can honestly see myself watching it again when it comes out on streaming. So that's my review from Marty Supreme. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the movie and what you thought of the review. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Have a good day.